TV. You are watching TGZ TV.
The Global Zambian, the only magazine that celebrates quality, cross-culture lifestyle and entertainment.
Hello, and good evening. Welcome to another Friday night review session. We are back again, and we're here obviously to review the Real Housewives of Lagos, season 1, episode 6. It is, I think. Yeah, episode 6 is what we are reviewing today. I hope you're excited as much as I am. This episode was a bit of an interesting episode in the sense that there wasn't drama, which is good because I think I remember mentioning last week that we need a bit of a balance when it comes to these things, and I feel like the fact that there wasn't really any drama to that extent gave us the balance that I was kind of referring to last week. So I'm kind of happy about that. But yes, welcome to the stream for those who are watching right now. And we are basically TGZ TV, an extension of the Global Zambian magazine. I just want to remind y'all, ever you want to check out TGZ magazine, go over to www.tgzmag.com, where we post every single day new articles with pop culture, entertainment, fashion, lifestyle, technology, everything pretty much lifestyle that embodies lifestyle. It's all there for you to find on tgzmag.com. And as I mentioned, today we're talking about the Real Housewives of Lagos, season 1, episode 6. But obviously, as I normally do, I just want to set a little reminder, as I always do, to do a little bit of housekeeping, which is for those who are watching us right now on YouTube. Please do not forget to click on that like button that you are watching the video watching on right now. And of course, if you are not a subscriber, why are you not subscribed? Go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the bell button so that you can receive notifications every time we go live as we are right now. And of course, every time we upload new content, you can always browse through our channel and you'll find that we've got a variety of content that ranges from interviews with some Hollywood A-listers, about the latest movies and events that are going on, as well as other interviews that we're going to be carrying on. And obviously one of our shows, which is one that we started a few months ago called Industry Entertainment Strip There, where we speak to various individuals within the entertainment industry and they give us a journey through their life and how they got to where they are. And so go ahead and visit that. Of course, people on Facebook, I am not going to forget about you. Do not forget to click like on the video that you're watching right now. And of course, follow the page that you're watching from, as well as tweak those notifications so that you can receive updates every time we go live. And of course, every time we post new content on tgzmag.com, it automatically gets posted on some of our Facebook pages. And so you can easily be able to find them over there. And of course, for those who are over on Twitter, we're not streaming on Twitter, but we do have a Twitter account. account. So if you're not really into Facebook or, into going directly to the website, or it's a struggle for you to find stuff, just go over on our Twitter account, and all our articles are actually automatically posted over on our Twitter account. You can find them on there, which is TGZ_magazine. You can find it over there. So let's get into this new episode, obviously episode 6, right? So they give us a little bit of a recap of what happened last week, and obviously it ended on the ladies having a sit down, and they were talking about how Chioma and Caroline did not show up when the meetup that Laura had with the other ladies to talk about her fashion line and her fashion show that she was going to be doing, right? And it seems Laura was basically saying she doesn't care, she doesn't need to invite them for her fashion show, and I'm assuming that was her saying, I'm not going to extend an invitation to them. And so now fast forward into episode 6, and this is what we're greeted with first. So basically it starts off with Laura, because obviously this is a follow-up, right, to the whole fashion show thing. And obviously it's obvious that they were preparing this entire episode to circle around Laura's fashion show, which I think is kind of good, because I think I mentioned it before that out of all the ladies, I do find that Laura is the one that's still yet to be established further in terms of matching the other ladies, because as it stands, I see her as just an internet personality and nothing more. So as a result, this is actually kind of good for her brand. And obviously Housewives shows have been known to help propel careers and opportunities and open new doors for any women that actually participate in, even including the ones who come in as friend of the show, given that if they're friend of the show, they are quite, regular on the episodes. That actually does help propel their career. It helps propel their brand. And so we have here, Laura is sitting down with Aisha. I think if I remember her name is Aisha, which is the woman she is doing the collaboration with. And they are preparing, she's telling her about, obviously the outfits are ready, the items are ready for them to kind of showcase. And then they bring in the models. And when the models come in, obviously they do like a little bit of a runway type situation where they actually walk up and down individually first. And then afterwards, they all walk in together like you would a fashion show and showcase all the outfits. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, okay? When I saw these outfits, I thought, this is it. I literally was like crickets, like, is this it? Is this the line that Laura is actually going for? Because I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's one of those situations where when you ask, is it a hit or miss? Like, if you're in the chat, feel free to let us know. Do you think what you've seen of Laura's fashion line to be a hit or a miss? In my opinion, it's a miss, unfortunately, because I did not find it to be that impressive. I really expected more. I don't know what more I expect. I know she spoke about how she loves to dress, she loves her blazers and everything, but I would have thought that, okay, fine, add that into the collection, but kind of make it a little bit more creative, make it something different. Don't make it very ordinary, which is what I felt I got with these particular lines. It just looked extremely ordinary. It just looked extremely ordinary. It looked like, over here in the UK, basically there's certain shops that you can go into on the high street that sell, £5, clothing. And some of the clothing is cute, by the way, so that's not the point. But in those same shops, you will find, as well as the cute items, you will find those items that kind of look to the cheap side, for lack of a better term. And this kind of felt that way, this literally kind of felt that way, where it's like, this feels a little bit to the cheap side. It doesn't really look like, I don't know. I mean, especially for a first, you'd say, yeah, it's her first collection, so maybe, give her leeway to kind of improve on it. But at the same time, you're like, well, you're already collaborating with an already established fashion designer, no? So I would have expected it to kind of look better. So that was a little bit disappointing. You know what I mean? That was actually really, really disappointing. And so whilst them two are sitting down and talk about fashion show, they go over to another scene where we've got Chioma meeting up with Mariam. Okay, Chioma and Mariam are sitting down, and Mariam, took this opportunity, obviously, to be able to try and get to know Chioma a little bit more, I'm assuming. And she gets to speak to her about how, you guys didn't show up, at the the lunch or whatever it's called, that Laura held, and she kind of felt some type of way. Is there a reason? Because obviously people were basically saying that the reason why, fine, you ended up saying that you were in Abuja, you were at your auntie's birthday party and whatever, but what was Caroline's excuse? Because she was in Lagos. So what was Caroline's excuse for her not to actually show up? Because she should have showed up. And basically Chioma actually just says to her, like, look, I don't know, I actually thought she was gonna come. Obviously I had an engagement, I had something that I needed to do, that I needed to go to, so I can't control what Caroline does. And obviously in the confessional, Chioma makes mention that look, Caroline's got a brain of her own. And I think she says it to Mariam as well. She's got a mind of her own. She can do whatever she wants, when she wants, how she wants, So I don't control what actions Caroline actually takes. And so, Mariam then extends an invitation to Chioma, telling her, say, okay, what we can do then, if that's okay, can you at least make sure that you and Caroline come? I'd like you to be able to come to her fashion show, come and support her, and please ask Caroline to come through as well. To which Shoma is like, okay, I don't mind, I don't mind coming over, I don't mind coming through, And so I think in the confessional, that's when like Chioma makes mention something along the lines of how, oh, why is it that she feels the need to not invite me, or something along those lines, And speaking of confessional looks, guys, okay, I would just want to go briefly go through some of the new confessional looks. As literally, like I said last week, it seems with every single episode, we are likely to be guaranteed to receive brand new outfits, for at least one new outfit for the confessional looks. And so before I go through the new ones that people haven't seen, remember last week I did mention that Laura had a new look, but I hadn't captured the screenshot. Well, this is Laura's new look. Okay, this is the new look that Laura was donning, which I thought was good. The hair looked good. The makeup was good. The outfit, the top was actually really cute. Even the earrings, all the way down to the earrings. This is literally by far the best look I have seen, the best confessional look I have seen Laura in, And I feel like I hope anyways, that if they're going to carry on having new confessional looks as they go along, because it seems after they do the initial confessional looks, and I think they do them almost, how can I put it? As they shoot, I think they film the confessional looks. They don't film the confessional looks after everything is done. So because of that, we're gonna keep seeing more and more new confessional looks when it comes to the ladies, I think, And if that's the case, I'm hoping with Laura, she's gonna keep improving, and she's gonna kind of like maintain this, where the hair looks amazing, everything actually looks amazing. The previous ones left a lot to be desired. And so I'm gonna go over to the next confessional look, which is our newbie, Mariam. Okay, Mariam's confessional look, I didn't mind the dress so much, but at the same time, I feel like Mariam is clearly a very skinny person. I don't know if she's very tall or she's actually very petite in overall, but she's a very, very slim person. And so when it comes to her clothes, I think she has to be careful not to have the clothes wear her, because so far I kind of feel like the clothes sort of wear her. This particular confessional look, I was not impressed with, guys, because the hair looked like it had too much oil or something. It seemed greasy. I think that's the word it seemed greasy, and I honestly expected more from Mariam. But so far, I won't lie to you, Mariam's hairstyles have not been really giving. They've not really been giving to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. She hasn't wowed me with her hairstyles just as yet, She's wowed me by her personality, because she's really out there, she's outspoken, she speaks her mind, and I do like that about her. But her outfits and her hairstyles, her styling head to toe, is yet to fully impress me, And then we've got Iyabo. Iyabo's new look is, I like this look. It's kind of princessy, and I think it kind of goes with her age, I suppose, because it's not really 21st, I don't know, let me not say 21st century, because the 90s was also 21st century. It kind of gives me prom night or wedding attendee type vibe, but I like it. It's not like, again, I have seen Iyabo in better outfits. that I prefer, because again, this is subjective. So other people might look at this and think, oh, this is it. This is the look. It's a beautiful look. But for me, it doesn't quite touch it, because I feel like I've seen Iyabo in way, way better outfits than that, And then let's have a look at Chioma. Chioma also came in with a new look. Okay, Chioma gave us ascot. It's like she's going to the ascot, but she's decided to glam up her ascot look. And that's literally what I'm getting for Chioma's look in this particular situation. I don't mind it in the sense that it's giving costume, I don't know, where would you wear this? I'm not so sure. I would have loved to see. It would be interesting to actually see what the full outfit it looks like, because I might visit her Instagram later on and have a look to see what the full outfit actually looked like. But she's giving very ascot, or someone who's going to a wedding or something like, again, kind of very similar to Iyabo, And so, yeah, with this one, again, I don't hate it. It's nice, but it doesn't really do it for me, And then let's look at Caroline. Caroline, I don't know what the heck was going on with this. Honestly speaking, I don't know what was going on with this outfit. I didn't like it one single bit. I actually think it's awful. And then, it turns out that the thing at the top is like a hoodie. It's not even just a hat on its own. It's like a hoodie, because later on she pushes it down. And I'm like, what were you thinking, Caroline? Like, is this, I don't understand. Did she not test it? Did she not give it a test run? Because this outfit was not doing it. It's like there's so much going on, and the outfit doesn't know whether it wants to come or go. And it just doesn't do it for me, honestly. It really doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't. I'm not understanding what this outfit wants out of life. I don't know what the outfit wants out of life, because it feels a little bit lost. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And so because of this confessional outfit, her criticisms towards Laura's line made me look at her like, girl, no, bling, 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 sailor look. No, bling, 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 sailor look. I did. It kind of gave sailor look. Oh, that is too funny. That is way too funny. Bling, 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 sailor look. I didn't understand. That outfit did not know what it wanted to do with itself. I'll be honest with you. It did not know what it wanted to do with itself. It didn't make sense to me whatsoever. So anyways, so that's, the confessional looks. And so obviously, Mariam and Chioma, they have their conversation. Chioma is happy to extend the invitation to Caroline, and kind of like obviously ends up extending the invitation. And so now we move on to the next scene, which is Toyin. Toyin goes to, I don't know where exactly she went. I don't know if I would really say the hood, but obviously in an area where there's maybe people who are less privileged. And I didn't like the terminology that Laura used, where she was like, oh yeah, she's out here, giving to the poor. And I'm like, what makes you so sure that everybody around here is poor? Yes, she's giving to certain people, but like, don't call them poor. Don't say that. Just because people don't have access to certain things and can't afford certain things, it doesn't equate them to being poor. They just can't afford any additional luxuries. It doesn't make them poor. So I didn't like that statement from her. But as you can see, Toyin is in the area where basically she's doing it in honor of her dad, and she's giving people, I think, items that are required for them to go for their prayers, because I'm assuming, the faith is Islam. And she's taking prayer mats and other bits and pieces which are loaded at the back of a truck. And she invites over a friend of hers who comes all colorful, the one in the pink. And I don't know, she mentions his name, but for the life of me, I actually can't remember. And so he comes in and she's like, all excited. He's excited for her. And then the guy that you see in the t-shirt, right, who's laughing with them with the dreads, he actually raps for her. So I'm assuming he's trying to audition for her. He's trying to find an opportunity, which is good for him, Hello, Powerful. Welcome. You just finished watching the episode. Oh, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the episode, Powerful. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the episode. And so basically he kind of raps to them, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, she's kind of feeling herself, because she's kind of feeling like a bit of a Simon Cowell, I'm assuming, and it turns out she actually invited a couple of other ladies who happen to be Mariam and Laura. So Mariam and Laura show up, and Laura in the confessionals basically says she didn't say that, it's like a charity philanthropic type situation. So she would have dressed appropriately because she felt a little bit overdressed for the situation. But, you know, she goes on to say, but either way, you know, if you put me in a bougie place, I'll bougie it up. If you put me somewhere that's ghetto, you know, I'm going to go down and be ghetto accordingly, you know, which is quite interesting, contrary to what Caroline actually thinks of Mariam, you know, but we're going to touch on that in a bit. Hey, powerful from Stephanie. And hey, Stephanie, welcome. Welcome, ladies, welcome. And so basically, yeah, so that happens. And then when they finish with this scene, it's a very light scene. I see it more like a filler because I feel like if she's giving back, I would have loved to have seen more of her actually, you know, giving back. I think that would have helped add more depth to basically Toyin, and also, you know, some of her causes outside of her trying to be the person that's that shocks people with her fashions and her photo shoots, you know, and trying to be the king of queens all the time. It would have been nice to see a little bit more information on that situation, kind of like the way the Chioma situation with the guy who lost the arm, who was her bartender. I would have loved them to have gone into a little bit more detail about that. It's like the kind of like whooshing over some of the really touching moments that add substance to these ladies. They're kind of like rushing through them, and I would have loved if they kind of like spend a little bit more time in that rather than just showing us like a surface version of what the ladies are doing. You know what I mean? Hey, powerful. Yes, ABs is saying hey, ABs. And so now that is done. So now they switch over to the fashion show where Laura is actually preparing and just kind of going through the run-throughs, you know. So they're prepping for the runway show, and then they are also obviously making sure that everything is sorted out. But as they're sorting everything out, it turns out that Laura has actually one of her makeup artists is not able to be there, and so she's only got one makeup artist left. But my thinking is, like, hang on a minute, you are saying that you are basically saying that you lost one makeup artist, and so now you're left with one makeup artist? Like, are you telling me for your entire fashion show you just hired 2 makeup artists? You know, so how many models were there? You know, how much time do you have? That was like, wait a minute, if you only got one makeup artist left and one makeup artist didn't make it, that means you only hired 2 makeup artists for an entire fashion show. That doesn't always work well. You need at least a few makeup artists, you know, so that you can be able to assign them to each individual, you know, at least a set amount of individuals. If you have one makeup artist trying to do everything, of course that's going to take time, you know. So yeah, powerful saying hey to ABs. All the pleasantries going on in the chat there. And so basically they're practicing for that. Obviously they're preparing. Apart from the makeup artist situation, all in all, it seems to have been panning out quite decently well, you know. And as they're preparing, they go over to a different scene where we can see Chioma is actually getting ready. She's getting her hair ready, and she happens to make a phone call to Caroline where she's just asking Caroline, you know, how far she is, etc., that sort of thing. Initially, I thought that's when she was actually going to ask Caroline if she's coming, but it turns out she must have already extended the invitation to Caroline because there she's actually been able to ask Caroline how far, and you know, and Caroline actually mentioned, so I had to cancel everything, you know, this and the other. But my thinking is, why did Caroline feel the need to have to mention that she had to cancel this, that, and the other? You know, this, you know, at the end of the day, at some point, Caroline is going to have to host the girls, you know, and if I'm not mistaken, you lot are all contractually obligated to attend each other's events, because that's why it's called an ensemble cast. You know, it's not an individual cast, so you actually have to make time. So you're not technically canceling anything. So behave yourself, Caroline. You know, I feel like Caroline's behavior in this particular episode got on my nerves. Her and Toyin got on my last nerve this episode, I won't lie. You know, it got on my nerves. Everyone's still saying hello. And so they, you know, talk about that, and they even go on FaceTime briefly so that Chioma could have a peek at Caroline's outfit, which she does. We see it briefly, but we don't really get to see it fully, because when she shows up, it looks like a slightly different outfit, if truth be told. So I'm not so certain if she ended up changing her outfit. What I do remember seeing is that it was black. So I don't know. I'm not so certain about that. And so during the show, obviously, as they're preparing backstage, Iyabo and her daughter arrive. Iyabo and her daughter arrive, and her daughter's looking absolutely gorgeous. I love the way her hairstyle was. It was so pretty. And they're just basically discussing what outfits she's going to wear, what outfits she's going to wear, and what is it that she would prefer to wear. And that confused me because I was like, wait a minute, you are trying to decide what outfit she's going to wear? I'm so confused, I'm so confused because I'm just like, why do you need to have her choose what outfit she's going to be wearing when you, as the fashion designer, should have already called her in for a fitting prior to be able to make sure the outfit, one, fits her well, and then which one she's actually going to wear, so that she could have actually been able to have even styled her hair to match the outfit. That's kind of like how I saw that situation, so it felt a little bit unprepared in that aspect, because I'm like, wait, she's choosing herself what outfit she's going to wear? That's weird. I personally found that very, very bizarre. I don't know what you guys thought. Do you find that bizarre that Iyabo had to pick her own outfit for the fashion show? Do you not think, as a fashion designer, she's supposed to have her special guest is supposed to you're supposed to have her outfit ready for her? That way, you're guaranteed is going to fit her. Because what if none of the outfits were able to fit Iyabo? What would have happened then? They're already good to go. So that kind of confused me a little bit, I'll be honest. That confused me a little bit. And so as the ladies are backstage, discussing and talking, obviously in the building, should I say, walks Toyin. And I actually like this outfit of Toyin's. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Speaking of, I think did I miss Toyin's confessional outfit? Did I touch on Toyin's confessional outfit? Hang on a minute. Let me have a look. Where is Toyin's confessional outfit? I did not touch on Toyin's confessional outfit, which I believe I did capture. No? Why am I missing people's confessional looks of late? Because Toyin had a confessional look, which, to be honest, for someone who is the king of queens in fashion, etc., I don't agree with. I did not agree with the outfit that she had. Funny enough, it was like a blazer type thing in green, and it just didn't work. Her hair didn't work. Her confessional look, literally, it didn't work. Sorry, Miss Fashion Goddess or whatever. That look was not it. And hopefully next week I'll be able to show you the look, and you can see for yourselves why that look was not it. But this look that she had, actually, it worked for her. The way she had her hair and everything, she looked on point. She looked amazing. And then after Iyabo walked in, I think who walked in after her? After Iyabo, I think, if I remember, they changed back to another scene where you had the guy who was with Toyin at the, the charity thing that she was doing, the philanthropic thing she was doing. And this time he's wearing kind of similar outfit. I'll be very honest. If you've ever watched Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, there's some bizarre reason he reminds me of a character that's in there. Do I remember his name? Something. Oh, I can't remember. But he basically was emulated by Mick Jagger or something like that. But there's a character in the Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, which is an animation. Yes, I do watch cartoons. But he reminded me of that. So I just thought I would show you guys this because it was honestly reminding me a lot of that. But after that shot, anyways, we get Chioma. I must say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. I love this outfit. It's completely out there. But she's going to a fashion show. So she felt, if I'm going to a fashion show, I need to make sure that I look fashionable. And I found it interesting that when Chioma walked in, and it seems, I don't know what the cameraman or the director told them to do. Like, as they were walking in, they were having them walk in a certain way as they're posing for the cameras. I'm like, okay, what are we trying to do here? Slow-mo? Like, what's happening? Honestly, I was very curious about that. But when Chioma walked in, all of a sudden, Toyin is like, oh, why is it Chioma always feels the need to make an entrance? I'm like, bruh, what kind of entrance is she making? Isn't she walking in just like everybody else? What kind of entrance is it? It's a fashion show. She dressed fashionably. What is your problem? So for me, that was one of the things that kind of irritated me about Toyin, and we're going to touch on the actual fashion show when it starts, where she does a bit more, where you're like, Toyin, like, what's your beef? You know, what is your problem? And she does a lot more. Like, out of everyone that irritates me the most, between her and Caroline, there were even Stevens in this particular episode. I don't know what their problem was, between one having it stick up her behind and then the other one thinking that she's above everybody and thinking, anyways, I don't even know how to explain it, because I got so irritated by both of them. It's not even funny. And so anyways, after Chioma walks in, Caroline walks in, and you know, she's wearing actually, I like her outfit. I actually do like this outfit. She kept it simple, but it worked, you know. It worked, you know. In the video call that she had with Chioma, she was wearing a black outfit, but for some reason, it didn't look like it was this one. It looked like it was a slightly different outfit. Unless maybe she hadn't finished putting it on, then maybe I'm kind of like mistaking that. I'm not so sure. So she walks in, everyone is saying hello and everything, and then the fashion show officially begins. Okay, and as the fashion show begins, you can see on the screen right now, the ladies are actually sat next to each other. We've got Caroline sat next to Mariam, who's sat next to Chioma, who's sat next to Toyin. Okay, and at this part, the reason why you don't see Iyabo is because Iyabo obviously has gone behind the scenes, because obviously she's been asked to participate in the runway, and which brings about the question: if you recall, in last week's episode, she asked Iyabo and Mariam. So my question is, why didn't Mariam participate? And I thought that invitation was being extended to all the ladies to try and walk on the runway. So I was a little bit confused that the only people who were actually there to participate in the runway was Iyabo and her daughter. Why Iyabo only and her daughter and no one else? Like, was it scheduling issue? I would really love to know. And so the fashion show kind of carries on, and you can see this is pretty much almost all the line. And like I was saying, it was really not that impressive, you know. It really felt flat to me as far as I'm concerned, because I really was expecting more and I did not get more. I got like, okay, cricket. And that was the sentiment of quite a lot of the ladies. Caroline was upset with the line. Chioma was like, what is going on? And at one point she did say, okay, I did like the silk shorts, you know, and being a little bit extra mean because she's a bit of a bee, you know, but otherwise I did like the silk shorts. But overall, I think they were not really impressed. Toyin, on the other hand, rather than just critiquing the line and saying, yeah, it's not that great, what does she decide to do, which Chioma was not impressed with? She decides, let me show you my fashion line on my phone. Like, we already know your fashion line. We know you've got an extravagant boutique, etc. But why are you going to use your friend's fashion show to show somebody else what your fashion line looks like? And I didn't like that. And I'm with Chioma on that, in the sense that it was not necessary and it was not really nice, because that is your friend's fashion show, you know. So again, like Chioma said, she's like, you know, it gave her competitive. Yeah, it kind of gave her competitive, you know. To me, to a degree, I kind of feel like maybe jealousy, but at the same time, she might maybe turn around and say, oh no, why would I be jealous when I've got my own fashion line? But there's some people who feel threatened by anyone even coming within their realm, that they feel the need to want to say things, you know, and that can be construed as jealousy. You know, you can be the most successful person in the world and you'll still be jealous of someone who's poor and has got nothing compared to you. You know, it's actually a thing. It happens. Jealousy does not apply to somebody who's already more established than another person. Jealousy is down to someone feeling insecure about themselves or their brand or whatever it is that they're trying to compare, that makes them feel the need to have to bring the other person down. And I feel like that literally was the situation with Toyin, where she felt the need to actually critique her girls, you know, her friend's fashion line by showing the other person the fashion line. It didn't make sense to me at all, you know. And so as the fashion show carries on, we've got we end up having Laura's son. Now, I purposely took the screenshot like this because this is someone's child, and I'm not going to be here to show children's faces, you know, because I don't think it's right. You know, you have to be very, very careful when it comes to people's children. So I took this shot as he was turning around. That way his face is not in the camera. And he kind of walked, you know, obviously the kids' version of the line, I'm assuming. And he was so adorable. He was so adorable. And what does Toyin do? Toyin is like, she starts to talk about her own son. Oh, my son would have done cartwheels. He would have done backflips. I'm thinking, bruh, what is your actual problem? I'm thinking, I thought Laura is your friend. Like, I didn't understand that. First, you are showing Chioma your clothing line whilst your friend is showcasing her fashion line. And then now her child comes on the runway and you are saying, oh, it should have been, because at first I thought, oh, is she talking about Laura's child? Then I realized they mentioned Laura's child, and I realized the name that Toyin was mentioning was a different child, which made me assume like, oh, so she's actually talking about her own child. If her own child had been there, her own child would have done the backflips and done this, that. Who cares? Who cares? It's a child. It's a child. The fact that the child was even able to follow the rules of the runway, for me, you know, the child gets a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. And he was adorable. He was humble. He was so cute. And I think everybody kind of loved it. The only person who had issues with it is Toyin, which I don't understand what her actual problem was in this situation. You know, I honestly don't understand what her actual problem was. You know, it didn't make sense to me at all. You know, it just didn't make sense, you know, in any way, shape, or form. It did not make sense. So anyways, enough with my little rant about that, because honestly, it did not sit well with me. I don't understand Toyin's need to always have to feel the need to outshine people. It's like, if someone is naturally flamboyant or out there, Toyin seems to have a problem with it. You know, she seems to want to compete. I don't know where that energy is coming from. But for a child, it's like, come on, just leave it be. I didn't personally think it was necessary for her to actually do that. Do you know what I mean? It was not necessary at all. And so moving right along, obviously, as they have now gone through all the main models, who, by the way, should I say, even if the line was not impressive, the models were amazing. They were absolutely gorgeous. They were like proper catwalk models, and they did well in picking the models. They didn't just do well in picking or putting together the fashion line, in my opinion, you know, because otherwise, if those models combined by a fashion line that was actually amazing, she would have blown them all away, you know. And so after Laura's son, you know, finished walking the runway, and they asked me a cute little question to say, oh, how much money would you want? And I'm not sure exactly what that meant. Maybe it's something culturally I'm not understanding that's done in Nigeria. I didn't understand the purpose of that question personally, but the kid goes and says 100 naira. And I was like, oh, bless him. He's not even asking for much. He's not even asking for much. And then shortly after, obviously, the host, who is the guy, you know, him, just for those who want to know, he then introduces a special guest, and the special guest is none other than Iyabo's daughter. Iyabo's daughter comes through wearing what I would only describe as a hippie outfit, I suppose, you know. And I describe it as a hippie outfit because of the simple fact that it's hippie looking, okay? And then the fact that she had her hair the way she did, it did give it an entire hippie vibe. And she went on. Chioma was actually really excited. I do love the way Chioma actually loves on the kids of the housewives. You know, she's not nasty or anything like that. She embraces them and she loves them. And I love that. And I think that's a good quality to have. You know, you might even have beef with somebody or whatever, but if the fact that you take the time to acknowledge that that's a child, the child needs to be loved and appreciated and acknowledged, I think that's a good trait that I like about Chioma. I could be wrong, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, you know, when it comes to the kids, you know. And then obviously afterwards we get Iyabo. Iyabo comes in and she walks the runway in a little skirt, crop top type situation. And this screenshot that I captured, I was actually going to try and capture another one. I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to keep it, because this is where you have to be careful. If you're going to be doing a runway, you have to be careful how you any facial expressions, because people are there with shutter cameras, right? And they will capture everything. And the moment you twist your face and this and the other, that's what they might capture. And that's what I ended up capturing. So I thought it was really, really funny. And then later on, obviously, both of them come on the runway together where they're posing, you know, and it's when they're doing this that Toyin in Confessional says, hang on a minute, isn't Iyabo's outfit supposed to be for the daughter and the other way around? Because it looks like Iyabo should be wearing what the daughter's wearing and vice versa. Personally, I don't care. You know, I personally do not care. I don't think it's that much of a big deal, because if they got to pick what they were going to wear, I'm assuming the daughter must have picked that and Iyabo went to pick that, you know. And so again, it's one of those situations where it seems to have bothered Toyin, and so for me, I was like, okay, are you having a bad day? What is going on, Toyin? You seem to be upset about a lot of things all at the same time, and things that you don't necessarily need to be upset about. Do you know what I mean? And so I was confused.com when it comes to Toyin's behavior, attitude, or whatever. I honestly was confused.com. And so after Iyabo and them, they give the entrance, the fashion show comes to a close as they do the usual fashion show system where all the models come out again, and then the designers, they come holding their main model. And in this case, because it was Laura and Aisha, I think, one of them came out holding Iyabo, and the other one came out holding Iyabo's daughter, and they kind of came to a close. And then afterwards, they actually went behind the scenes, where they backstage, should I say, not behind the scenes, backstage, and they were just sitting and chatting, and just catching up on each other. And for me personally, it seemed perfectly fine, it seemed perfectly fine because everybody was sharing, everyone was chatting away, but again, Toyin had a problem. Toyin had a problem. And for me, that's what the problem I'm having, because I'm like, Toyin, what is the actual issue? What is going on with you that you feel the need to have the hump over this? And so basically, Toyin exclaims to say, why are they being fake? Why are they being so fake, etc., that sort of thing, So for me, it made me look at her and go, oh, so you want them to be beefing. So you like it when they're beefing. Because the way I see it, with the way Toyin's mind works, it looks like for her, if you're not getting along with somebody, you can't support their business. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you still can't support them. Especially as a Black woman, as a Black African woman, I didn't see the problem in Caroline still feeling the need to support Laura, even if they don't get along. And she kept saying, oh, they're being so fake, I wouldn't do that. And because of that, she started basically being stroppy. And I was like, if there's anyone that's actually ruining the mood right now, it's you, because you're feeling some type of way over a situation that's not even yours to feel some type of way about. So what is your problem? You pride yourself in being upfront, then confront the ladies, innit? Confront them and tell them, I think you're being two-faced. I think you're being fake, etc. All these fake pleasantries, whatever it is that you feel. Why didn't you confront them? You didn't. You just sat there and basically was throwing a strop. And for me, that was so unbecoming. It was so distasteful. And I was just like, ugh, I was super irritated with Toyin. Honestly, I was super duper irritated with Toyin because of that. Because I didn't think it was necessary, for her to actually go in. Because Laura herself, who is normally the number one to be give all that gangster stuff, was cool, calm, and collected, and she was just in a very happy mood, So I didn't understand where Toyin's energy was coming from, because I feel like it really, really wasn't necessary. And so as they're exchanging, they're having the conversations, they're complimenting her for the event, that she did good, even if the fashion line was not pleasing. At the end of the day, it was an achievement in itself that she actually was able to pull it together. Whether it was done specifically for the show or not, I'm not sure. And the reason why I put that question, I'll show you, is if you look at this picture, right? See the back row? Okay, it's literally 2 rows each side. Okay, I think the other side might even have just 1 row. No, 2 rows on each side. And the back rows are practically empty. And you can see from the front row that there's literally a handful of people on the on my right. The half of the people in the front row are the cast. Okay, and then some of them I think are friends of the cast. And so my thinking was, okay, I understand it's a showcase. Was this a private showcase for just the media? I'm trying to understand. I'm going to have to go and check on Laura's Instagram to see if this is officially out, because I am confused, because I did expect there was going to be like maybe a slightly bigger crowd, or at least, a couple extra rows, and then all of the seats at least filled in, because right now it's giving me vibes that it was done specifically for the show, and so they can only get a handful of people in to attend, and that's not to throw shade at Laura, but in reality shows they actually do that sort of thing just so they can be able to give you an extension to your storyline. And I feel like maybe this is to try and help Laura have her own standalone storyline whenever the others have to branch out and be focused on their own individual storylines, as opposed to when they're in an ensemble, And so as they're exchanging, they are obviously complimenting her on a job well done. They're having the discussions, and Laura, decides to make a toast. And as she's making the toast, she's like, here's to making a toast for, I think she was about to say making more friends. But then she ends up saying, oh no, let me not say friends because she says, let me not say friends because, what did she say? She says, because, whatchamacallit? What's her face? Because, oh my gosh, I've forgotten her name. What is the name of the girl? What is the name of the girl? Chioma, that's it. Flipping heck. Because, Chioma, the friendship, Chioma might deny and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you actually serious right now? You're actually going to focus. This is your time. This is your thing. And you are choosing to focus on Chioma. Like, make it make sense, it didn't make sense to me. And I was just like, oh gosh. And Chioma even said it. She was like, I don't understand why she feels the need. It seems that I'm living, rent free in her head, because she doesn't, it's her time, it's her moment, it's her event. She doesn't need to be thinking about me. And I agree with that, because I didn't think it was necessary. I honestly didn't think it was necessary to bring up. Should have just toasted, say thank you guys for all coming. It's been a positive vibe. I really love it. I hope you guys appreciate the line. This is something, whatever her speech was going to be, but don't bring in any sort of shade, to which Mariam also picked up on. Okay. And so as some of the ladies decided they were going to leaving, and I heard Chioma mention something about going to attend an award ceremony, and I think that's where either Chioma or the rest of the ladies, or Chioma alone, was going, but that's where they were headed. But we see a moment where, as you can see right now, this is actually Caroline and Mariam finally hugging. And so in this moment, Chioma is a little bit confused. She's like, just a few hours ago, they were saying all these things about each other, but now they're pally-pally. She's like, but I'm happy for them either way, And I think the reason for this is because whilst they were sitting down and talking, Mariam, as you can see, she's the one talking there. She invites all the ladies to her home on Thursday. I'm assuming it's like for a dinner, for them to just have some fun together. And basically she goes to say, if you're going to come and bring drama, I will not hesitate to throw you out. Now, here's the thing. Some of the ladies did not like that statement, which is hilarious to me. It's like, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's my home. So if you're going to bring drama and you're going to try and cause mess in my home, yes, I have every right to throw you out. Like, how do you not see that as, it's not a problem? The other ladies were, excuse me, what? Chioma's like, oh, that's a bit rude. No, it's not rude, actually. If you're going to come, you're going to bring mess, you're going to have attitude and ruin the vibe, I'm in every right to chuck you out my house. I don't want you in my house. You're free to go, And that's, funny enough, that is probably what got Caroline to feel comfortable enough to hug Mariam, because she agreed with Mariam. Everybody else seems to have disagreed with her, but Caroline agreed with her, because she was like, oh, at least, it's been positive. There's not been any beef. There's not been any negativity, that sort of thing, So I don't understand how the ladies have seen a problem, but obviously Laura, being Laura, thought it was aimed at her. Now, was Mariam aiming at Laura? I don't know. People in the chat, if you know whether you feel that was aimed at Laura, I doubt it very much. But I think maybe it's because obviously Mariam is new to this group and she's already seen that people are at loggerheads here and there. And so she's just generalizing to say, please don't bring beef. If you do bring beef, I'm just going to chuck you out. I don't see the problem with that, if truth be told. I really don't see the problem with that. And I commend her for putting it out there immediately. That way, when they do get chucked out, because they decided to start drama, it won't come as a shock. So, oh, I can't believe she chucked me out my house. No, she chucked you out because she warned you, though, didn't she? She actually gave you a very solid warning, to which you clearly did not heed. So I'm very curious as to what's going to transpire in the next episode. So the ladies say their goodbyes, and then we have just Mariam, Toyin, and Laura left behind, and they're chatting away, and Toyin is still having a bit of a mood about the fact that Mariam took it upon herself to invite Chioma and Caroline, to extend the invitation. And I kind of feel like, had Toyin not stressed on about it. Okay, to say, oh yeah, I don't know about that, about you inviting them to the event. I feel like had Toyin not said that, it would have not planted a seed in Laura's mind to go, yeah, it was not her decision to do it, because she was happy, she was not complaining. So what's the problem? You see what I mean? Laura was initially not complaining, but until Toyin brought it up, then it became a slight problem. It wasn't still a big deal for her. She was like, in the end, she's like, I don't care. They came, it's fine, But at the same time, I'm thinking, Toyin, what are you trying to do? Clearly, you've got a problem with Caroline, because for the most part, during the fashion show, Chioma kept on stating that, oh my gosh, Toyin and Caroline are not speaking. They're not speaking to each other. They're ignoring each other. So this is really, really awkward. Chioma was like, this is really weird. It's really awkward. And she mentioned it several times. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, production, again, this is where I'm going to have starting to have beef with the production of Real Housewives of Lagos, because I'm thinking, okay, I get the last time that Toyin felt some type of way towards Caroline was when they were at the airport to go to Chioma's getaway, right? Because Caroline arrived late. And so because of that, Toyin had an issue, but I didn't think it would be a big enough issue to hold a grudge or anything like that. But I did say, I'm looking this situation as though Toyin is going to be the one to kind of get the ump really quickly over nothing. And here we go now, a couple of episodes later, and unless there's something we missed in between that happened between them, why has Toyin have so much venom towards Caroline? Because there's no context for us to follow with. Like, production, do better. If there's something we missed, like, make it known, because I'm so confused as to where Toyin, unless this is Toyin's personality, then I'm thinking, girl, get it together. Like, what is this? What are you trying to do? Like, where is this coming from? Which kind of takes me back to Laura's commentary in a few, I think episode 1 or 2, where she mentions that, she's surprised that Caroline and Toyin are actually getting along, considering they were not speaking, and Toyin did say that she had a problem with Caroline. Is it that's now manifesting again? And maybe Toyin just tried to, for lack of a better term, this is hitting you in the face, Toyin, be fake for the sake of the show. And now you've realized, like, I don't have to fake it. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. It's not making sense. That's all I can say. Toyin's anger or grievances, whatever it is she has towards Caroline, is not making sense in any way, shape, or form. It's not, honestly speaking. I'm not understanding where it's coming from, And so basically, she obviously touches on that. And Mariam explains to Laura as well as Toyin, say, look, I just wanted you to be able to kind of like, for them to come and be happy for you. That way there's no that way if they don't come, it culminates, and it was going to get worse if they didn't show up, if truth be told. Them actually showing that they can show up, it says a lot. So we're still gonna, we're gonna beef, but we're gonna still support you. And I do love what Caroline said, where she said, look, at the end of the day, I might not like you and not want to be around you with all the drama that you're causing, but if you've got a business, I will show up for your business, So everything that Caroline was actually expressing about, oh yeah, and you've got the kids, you've got this, she was being legit. So I don't understand why Toyin has got such a problem with it. You don't like her. Okay, so what? It's not you though. It's not you. Why are you getting so upset about it? Like, I did not understand that. That really irritated me to the core. Come to think of it, initially, I was thinking, yeah, the top 2 people that irritated me the most in this episode were Caroline and Toyin. Come to think of it, Toyin actually irritated me the most. She's the bottom of my list for this particular episode because all her antics were not necessary. I honestly thought Toyin was going to be the life of the party. I thought, yeah, she was going to be a good time, but my gosh, I'm just getting stroppy teenager at this point with Toyin. Like, she needs to stop with all of this. It's not necessary. Unless it's something that's directed at her, I don't see why she feels the need to have to carry other people's beef. Don't carry other people's beef. If anything, you see something, try and help the situation. Why are you trying to make sure that they stay having beef? Because you feel they're being pretentious or pretending or whatever. No, they are grown up enough and mature enough to decide to say, oh, hang on a minute. I know we have got our differences. We're not getting on, but this is your business. I want to support you as a woman, right? So I'm going to put my differences aside so I can come and support you and be cordial. It's actually possible. The two can coexist. It's not a situation the two can't coexist. How many people do you go to work with every day that you have to speak to, who you cannot stand, but it's your job to do your job so you can get a paycheck, correct? So you kind of have to like bite the bullet, say, okay, I know what my differences are, but my job is important to me, so let me do my work and be cordial. That's how you roll. It's called adulting. Get into it, Toyin. Honestly speaking, I didn't like her attitude in this episode. It was just not necessary. It was stanky, for how I can be able to kind of describe it, and that's kind of pretty much what summed up the episode. It ended up with them sitting down and having a talk about Mariam taking the initiative to invite the other ladies. Laura was like, yeah, I would have preferred that she didn't do it, but they came and I'm happy that they came. So Laura didn't actually even have a problem with it, and surprisingly, Laura was not a problem this episode. Laura was pleasant this episode. Laura was tolerable this episode. So good for you, Laura. We hope we can see more of this side of Laura than the Laura who's trying to be a thug every 5 seconds in her confessionals, So yeah, that kind of the long and the short of the episode. I look forward to next week, where they're going to be going to Mariam's home. Mariam's home looks beautiful, so I can't wait for them to actually show us her home is in its entirety, because from the trailers and the introduction of her, already we could see she lives in a gorgeous home. But I'm curious as to what kind of plans she has for them, because more, we're gonna do, no, don't surprise, I want you to come bring you back. I love the way she talks. I understand what she says half the time only, because half the time like, wait, what? I feel like, when you're watching a really fast race and your head is doing this, that's me trying to catch up with Mariam as she speaks. But I like her as a character. I think she's a good one, and I think it's really hilarious that Toyin even got really upset with her. And just like, oh, Toyin, give it a rest. Toyin irritated me the most. Caroline, you were trying to act too stoush, in the sense that you're being way too judgmental towards Mariam. It was uncalled for. It's not necessary. You did not get raised the same way. If you want to be prim and proper at every given moment in your life, then fine, be prim and proper, but don't try and basically project that onto other people, force other people to be just like you. The whole point of being able to have a decent friendship group is everyone is different, and your life is going to be extremely boring if everyone is exactly like you. What are you, the plastics from Mean Girls? Like, come on, stop. Because that's how she was behaving, like a plastic from Mean Girls. Today we wear pink, kind of, on Thursdays, is it Wednesdays or Thursdays, we wear pink kind of attitude, and I didn't like that. It was not necessary for you to judge Mariam the way you were judging her. Like, oh, she's always saying B and da, da, da. So what? That's her. It's not you. It's not you. What is your problem with that? You have to film with her. Go ahead and film with her. Then afterwards, you don't have to be around her. I don't see why she's had such a big problem with that. She needs to get together and get down to earth a little bit. Fine, yes, you were married to a billionaire, so you had access to a certain lifestyle. That's fine. That's all well and good. But from my experience, from what I have observed as well, billionaires are actually, a lot of them are not, they don't behave like that. I'm sorry, but they don't. They don't. So Caroline, get it together, girl, because you're being a little bit too judgmental. You're being a lot judgmental. But otherwise, guys, that kind of brings me to close out this live. Is anyone interested in coming in? I don't know, because it's Friday, so it's kind of tough to get people to kind of call in. But because I've been here for 57 minutes, and I'll be very honest with you, I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten anything the whole day, and I need to try and eat something. It's 11 o'clock our time here in the UK. So it's super late. So I literally haven't eaten since I've woken up this morning, which is not good. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in every single week as I come to do the reviews. Please, if you're watching this after this live, feel free to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. If there's anything that I missed out in the episode, that you picked up on, please do let us know. And let us know what the mystery is behind why Toyin dislikes Caroline so much. Because I feel like Caroline being late a couple of times is not enough grounds for someone to have so much venom towards somebody else, And so if you know the mystery behind their beef, please feel free to drop it down in the comments below. And obviously, before I go off, I'm going to do the usual housekeeping and just remind people, if you're watching me right now from YouTube, please do not forget to click on that subscribe button, and of course the like button from the video you're watching, and of course the bell button so that you can receive notifications every time we go live, as we are right now, and of course every time we upload new content. And people over on Facebook, please do not forget to click like on the video you're watching on whatever platform page you're watching from, and of course follow the page that you're watching this video from, and tweak those notifications so that you can receive alerts every time we go live, and of course every time we post new content. And where does that content come from? Obviously some of the content comes from right here on YouTube, but also some of the content comes from www.tgzmag.com. That is our magazine publication platform where you can receive daily news articles on the variety of things that you can do that is in pop culture, lifestyle, entertainment, fashion, property, the list goes on. And of course, whilst you are there, feel free to download our previous issues of TGZ magazine. Yes, we have a digital publication that you can be able to download and actually read it at your own leisure. So feel free to go over there and download it, and it's absolutely free. It will not cost you a dime. Okay, just make sure that when you do go over there, feel free to share the link to our website. Feel free to share the link to the magazine so more people can download. Of course, do not forget to share the stream that you're watching right now so that more people can have access to this review. And of course, all the shares help in us be more visible in the algorithm, which is very, very much appreciated. Otherwise, from myself and my team and all my guests that came on in the chat, thank you so much, Stephanie, ABs, as well as Powerful. I appreciate you all coming and supporting every single time. Otherwise, for myself and everybody out there, enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a lovely, lovely good night.
You are watching TGZ TV.
The Global Zambian, the only magazine that celebrates quality, cross-culture lifestyle and entertainment.